job. For our pin hitters, we were really excited coming into preseason because we had 6, which is probably the most we've had in a long time. We're usually around 4 or 5, but we have 6 pin hitters, and that's not including using Shelby as one. But the unfortunate thing, we've had a lot of injuries in the pin hitter position, so it kind of dwindled down. We've had some practices where we've only had two pins practicing. So. But just a little bit about them. Leading the way for us will be Beth Disher, who is a senior. She's one of our captains this year. And Beth was out all of the spring, all of the summer with the low back problem, and she ended up having surgery in the spring. And in fact, she did not jump and hit a ball until the first day of preseason, from last fall until just this preseason. So that's a lot of months of not hitting a ball. But she's somebody that we're going to have to, for the preseason, she's been in and out. She never practices a full practice. She only practices in 1 practice a day, so she's very limited. But I think on the positive side of that, when she's been in, she has been able to compete. And talking honestly, I didn't think it was going to work out if Beth was only going to be able to be in and out, just because there's so much timing and things involved with the sport. But she doesn't miss a beat. Once she gets in there, she competes hard. I think she just has a totally different attitude. You know, she knows she's only going to be in there a limited amount of time, so she really gets after it, and she knows it's her last year, so she's very competitive and working hard. I think for us, the challenge is going to be keeping her as healthy as possible and getting her through this season, but still having her be prepared for the matches and trying to figure out what we do with our team when she's in and when she's out. So she's somebody that we definitely need to have on the court, want to have on the court, but as far as how much she gets to do that, it's definitely going to be a day-by-day thing this year. But I think, like I said, we have a veteran group, and we're prepared to deal with that however we have to deal with that. Amy Brown also returns for us. She's a sophomore now and was named Freshman of the Year last year, so a true competitor, and she came in, again, firing on all cylinders. She's that kid that is not just an attacker for us, but she's part of the reason why our defense is strong, because she's the kid that reads, keeps the ball alive, very good ball control and passing, somebody that will be a primary passer for us. Unfortunately, with Amy, she, after 2 days of practice, pulled a quad and has been out since then, so we haven't had an opportunity to work with her. She is slowly getting in. Like today, she'll get to do a little bit of drills that are a little bit more controlled. So the positive thing is we know she's going to be back. It's just a matter of when she's going to be back and how we train when we want to start getting into some lineups, how we train our lineup side. But we definitely need her, and she is... It's driving her crazy not being. The same thing, if you guys remember, happened to her last year. She pulled a quad, and I told her, you know, if she's trying to get out of preseason, we can find different ways of doing that, because second year now, and she hasn't had a preseason really yet. So, but hopefully she'll be back real soon. Another pin hitter, Megan Lehman, has been huge for us at the net. She's a big presence, kind of that bigger blocker type. And Megan does a nice job of playing both sides of the pin for us, so is really flexible. We've been using her both on the right and the left. She played a little bit for us last year, got a little bit of playing time, but we really are looking for her to step in a bigger role on the court this year for us. She's still, she's one of those kids when she came in, did not know a lot about volleyball, just a really good athlete, and is still continuing to learn the game, but just has made such big improvements since the day she stepped on our campus. So the neat thing about Megan is if she's going to err, it's going to be erring on the aggressive side, and I'd much rather have that in a player, just a very aggressive player, and never dies. So look for Megan to be a contributor for us this year. Also, redshirt freshman Macy Euban on the pin. She was doing well in preseason, but also went out with a quad, and she just returned yesterday to full go, so we'll see how Macy does. Macy will probably be more of a right side pin for us, which will definitely add some depth to the right side, which is something we have not had in the past. So looking forward to having some more options there on the right side. We do have two true freshmen that rounds out our freshman class that are on the pins. Brittany Nelson's from Iowa City. If you guys have seen her play in high school, just an amazing jumper, and she has been a very effective as an attacker for us. She really is just right up there with a lot of our veterans as far as the attacking side goes. But she does have a lot to learn as far as just the game in general, our defensive schemes and what we do. But again, you know, coming in as a freshman, it's definitely overwhelming, and she's starting to get it as the preseason goes on. So she's somebody that definitely could be competing for playing time depending on how our pin situation works out. Erica Hankton is our other freshman from Wapsie Valley, and I love Erica's, if you guys remember Kim Kester from the past, to me she's another Kim Kester as far as just gets after it every time she steps on the court, just never, you know, we're trying to get her to hit some nice tips and roll shots, but doesn't happen. She just wants to fire that arm every time, which, again, I think that's a positive problem to have. But she's not just effective at the net and aggressive, but she has the same exact attitude as that in the backcourt as well. So Erica is going to be somebody that competes for playing time. Both the freshmen, it just kind of depends the next week how they continue to adapt. It's really hard as freshmen to come in and have only 2 weeks to learn the speed of the game and all of our systems, and then be ready to play against an opponent.